Hey, if you're pregnant over 40, I have just the community for you. It's a private community away from Facebook where women just like you come together to meet and support one another during pregnancy. To sign up for the waitlist, go to over40fabulousandpregnant.com/waitlist and be the first to know when the membership is open. I can't wait to see you inside. Right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Over 40 Fabulous and Pregnant. I am your host, Jamie Massey, and you're listening to episode 50 freaking 4. Typically, we share pregnancy stories of women over 40, but today we are doing a little something different. We are talking about believing pregnancy is possible over 40 so we can have a better trying to conceive experience. Yes, we are looking at how I believe and the process I go through and a list of thoughts that have helped me. I hope they might help you too. And if you are pregnant, this process works for really believing anything, not just being pregnant. Ladies, 1 year ago today, I posted the very first episode, and I haven't missed a single Monday upload. I am incredibly proud of that. Thank you so much for sticking around. This is our 1-year anniversary show. You asked for this show on Instagram, and you know I'm 42 and I'm trying to conceive also. So this is for all of us. And our transfer is at the end of October. So I am working on all of this myself. Now we have some amazing pregnancy stories coming up. So we're going to be back to pregnancy stories next week. I get a few comments on how strong I am mentally and how can I podcast while going through miscarriage. And that's no lie. I have been bleeding while I have been recording. First and foremost, I have to thank my mother. I believe that. She had 6 miscarriages before me, and she's been talking about them ever since I can remember. And while it's hard to go through, it's something that has always been discussed at our house. My only complaint with her about it is that she doesn't call me her miracle child enough. And second, I have been working on these thoughts for the last few years, and that's what we are going to dive into today. After my first miscarriage, I decided I was going to celebrate every happy moment, no matter what. So many of us want to protect our feelings. Wait, that means because you didn't get excited or happy, does that mean you are less sad now? No way. I don't buy that for a minute. We are going to get upset whether we celebrate or not. So why not celebrate? Honestly, that thought alone has served me so well in my whole journey. But really, before we dive into it, I first want to tell you this has nothing to do with religion or God or faith or whatever upper power you believe in. I just want to get that out of the way. And I also want to tell you that this process is not original. I have to give so much credit to Brooke Castillo at the Life Coach School. This process that we are going to talk about has absolutely changed my life. And that's why I want to share it with you. How has it changed my life? I've told this story a few times, and I will try to be brief. In 2007, yes, 16 years ago, I got hemorrhoids. Yes, it's that story. I experienced constipation and bleeding and pain. Sometimes I would cry when I would go to the bathroom. It was so bad, but nothing worked. I tried creams and medication and surgery. I had 2 doctors. I had a few colonoscopies. I tried acupuncture. I had medication that she said could affect my fertility. And I only took that for a short time. So who knows if that is affecting everything now, but nothing. I was told I had Crohn's disease after waking up from one colonoscopy. Scary stuff, right? But I didn't think I had Crohn's disease. I also blamed it on my diet. And that's when I got into gardening and I became a vegetarian for a year and then a vegan for the next year. But nothing helped. But I did know one thing. It was always worse when I was stressed. Fast forward to 14 years and I still have hemorrhoids. I found the Life Coach School in 2021. I've listened to every podcast and joined her coaching program. I went in to help with relationships and anxiety, and my life has never been the same. I've spent the last 2 years continuing this work. And it wasn't until about 6 months ago, through this daily process, that I realized I clenched my ass cheeks and tensed my legs. That's 16 years with hemorrhoids. And I was the one that was causing the constipation and pain. It's so mind-blowing that I figured this out after 16 years by just listening to the sentences in my brain and feeling the feelings in my body. This is something no doctor could have ever figured out for me. And I have been working on not doing it ever since. Now, this work has also affected other parts of my life. I've had several friends and family point out just how relaxed and happy that I seem. People around me are noticing the difference after doing this work. So ask me if this work is worth it. Hell freaking yes. And 2, I want to make sure that my goal of this episode is also to not tell you that if you believe hard enough, you will get pregnant. No, not at all. Being pregnant is a circumstance, but our experience getting pregnant and later pregnancy only lives in our brain. Let's have an amazing time getting there. And for an example, maybe you can relate with Christmas if you celebrate it. The anticipation of the holiday, I think, is absolutely magical. Christmas Eve, I think, is the best. And the shopping for the gifts and the parties. And then it's Christmas Day and it's kind of just okay. I've always thought that. Like, Christmas Day is just okay. But it's all the buildup that made it so great. And that's the experience I want to create to getting pregnant. Getting pregnant is Christmas. So let's have an amazing Christmas Eve. And when we believe with certainty it's going to happen, our brain is working at the solution, how to get there, not if we can get there. And it's just words, but it's so powerful. To bring it back down to the basics. Belief is the thought that you keep thinking over and over again. And I love to give myself permission to believe anything I want. Even if I don't have fallopian tubes or ovaries or a uterus, I can still choose to believe I can get pregnant. Now, of course, I take that example way to the extreme, but just to make a point, that yes, we can believe anything we want. I give myself permission every day to do that. Sometimes I think I'm stating a fact or an observation, but really it's just a thought in my brain. And just because I think it, it doesn't make it true. And honestly, when it comes to the word infertility, oh, I never say that word. And I certainly haven't spoken it on the show, even though my guests have. I have not. This is a label given to us by our medical field. And I never used the word with myself or anyone. It's a label I never want to give someone. It's absolutely forbidden. When we first started trying to have a baby, I really wanted a baby so bad. I over desired a baby. Now it's funny, Brooke Castillo just posted a show just a few days ago, last Thursday, on over desiring. And I was like, oh my gosh, she just did a podcast just for me. Over desiring. I'll leave a link to that episode in the show notes. But back then I wanted a baby. I wanted it too much. And I was trying too hard. So everything I was doing came from stress and tension. I wanted a baby as fast as possible. I thought that my life would be better if I had a baby and if I was pregnant. I needed to get out of the pain of trying to conceive so I could get to the perfect life of having a baby and being a mother. But I know now life is 50-50. It's 50% positive and 50% negative. I ask myself a lot over the years, why am I not pregnant? Why am I not pregnant? So my brain went to work to answer that question. And you know what it came up with? Jamie, you don't deserve to be a mother. That's why you aren't pregnant. And that's what I thought over and over again. And I think we can all agree that thought did not serve me. And it's so obvious when I say it out loud, but it took me a very long time to figure out that exact sentence in my brain. The next negative, amazing question I would ask myself after a few miscarriages is, Jamie, why can't you keep a pregnancy? Also, not useful. We can all agree. My brain came up with the answer of, well, you clench your ass cheeks, which causes stress and constipation. Of course you can't stay pregnant. And those are the kinds of questions and thoughts that would creep back through the work. I'm sure you can see a pattern. I too find it so easy to see patterns in others, far easier than patterns of my own brain. Now, I use the word brain in third person because, and I also say sentences instead of thoughts a lot because it gives it more distance between that and thinking about myself. It's almost like thinking about someone else because I'm talking about in third person. And it really helps me give a more objective thought about what's going on. And it really allows me to help myself more. Now, I don't put much judgment. Correction. I try to not put more judgment on the thought besides it's useful. It's not serving me. Those two things. And it seems like when I put more judgment on those thoughts, it leads to emotions like shame and guilt. So I really try not to do that. So let's get to these steps of the process to believe already. First, I decided a goal. Yes, of course. Having a baby is the goal. But more importantly, I wanted to put the goal in my words, in my sentence. And it goes like this. I will have an amazing pregnancy and a beautiful baby as a gift at the end. I want it to be a little different than just a baby is the goal, because you can still have a baby after terrible, traumatic experiences. And I wanted to also shape my experience in my goal. Okay, so I named my goal, if you will. The next thing I did was to recognize the thoughts in my brain during the day as they would come up. And especially when I was feeling a negative emotion, I really tried to figure out what sentences were causing the emotion. Now, this is a skill, and it took months and months to do it. I'm still working on it. So give yourself a lot of time in this step, but getting to know yourself is really freaking amazing. The next thing I didn't want to change anything, not yet. The first, I just took a long time to get to know all the sentences in my brain. I wanted to be able to repeat the exact sentence that made me feel a given emotion. For me, it's really easy to name the emotion I'm feeling before the thought that caused it. Kind of went like this. I would have an emotion, anxiety, excitement, or frustration. Those are my 3 go-to emotions, but I wouldn't know why. I went to work on that, and I would feel and try to understand what the sentence was that caused it. Let me give you an example. It's kind of a funny story. I would get so annoyed with my husband, like triggering annoying, when he would cock his head in a conversation, like a little puppy, inquisitive. I had no idea why I found this so annoying. And it took him so many times to do it in our conversation before I could figure out the thought. And it was, oh, you're trying to interrupt me and distract me to dismiss me when I speak. That's what I thought. Clearly, that is not what he was trying to do. Once I realized what that sentence was, it would help me overcome my frustrations. And he actually hasn't done it, I think, in a long time. That was after the conversation of, I find that really annoying. Me like blowing up and getting angry. Next, I write down all of my thoughts on pregnancy, or really whatever you're trying to work on. Everything in my head as fast as I can write, and I just fill out the whole page. I have books filled with my thoughts. There's something really powerful about writing them down. And I looked at my thoughts and I thought, wow, no wonder I'm not having a very good trying to conceive experience. So if you want to gauge how your experience is going, look at your thoughts, because it's a really good indication. And then I would look at these thoughts. Like, for example, I don't deserve to be a mother. In a perfect world, my brain would believe I deserve to be a mother. That's the thought that I actually want to believe. But no way. That's way too extreme for my brain to believe. My brain is not ready to think like that. So, okay, let's create a sentence that's closer to that. What about everyone deserves to be a mother? I've said that before. Yes, that is a sentence my brain can believe. And when I am in this process, I test out those thoughts like I am trying on an outfit in a dressing room. Do I believe it? How does it fit? How does it feel? I would say it over and over again. And after I was comfortable with that new thought, then I would try and do a closer one. Like, what if I deserve to be a mother too? I deserve to be a mother too. So really, it's kind of creating baby steps of sentences to the sentence that you really want to believe. Other times I would do the complete opposite and it works just fine. Like during my first transfer, I would think it's not going to work. Why bother? This is a waste of time. And instead, I would truly practice. It could work. It's going to work. And that was really helpful. Another way I kind of like to look at all this like it's a big math equation of thoughts and feelings and actions. I would look at the emotions I wanted to have instead. I want my experience to be calm. I want to experience joy, and I want to feel excitement. I'm really good at excitement, so that one is not hard for me. That's one of my 3 go-to emotions. Calm, I am really not good at. But then I would create sentences that helped me feel calm, sentences that helped me felt joy, and sentences that made me feel excitement. And those we will get to later. The last way that was helpful, but perhaps only a short term for me, was to write from the future. Oh, it was incredibly helpful when I was writing in the moment because I could truly feel, it was really powerful. But then afterwards, it kind of fizzled out for kind of a lack of a better word. So like I was writing as if I was already a mother. And I was telling myself now what the nursery was like, what it was like to go on a trip, what my husband was acting like, and my mom. And I would give a lot of descriptions of what the weather was like, what I was feeling. And that was so incredibly powerful also. So this might help doing right before a transfer, which was super useful for me. Or maybe even before you start practicing new thoughts. That would be really helpful also. And I do this at certain times of the day. I don't know about you, but my lunch break is my sacred time. It's often the time I do work on myself, really this kind of work. And I write down thoughts I have and then the ones I want to have. And then I repeat them and I review them. When I recognize those older thoughts coming up during the day, I really try and be kind to myself. Oh, hey, there's that thought. There's that old thought trying to make a comeback. No, this is the thought I want to believe. It's so simple, isn't it? But oh my gosh, so effective. And the more I do it, the easier it gets to believe. I hear a lot of you saying right now, affirmations work for many people and wonderful. But for me, they're just noise because I didn't believe them. Like I didn't choose those sentences and they have nothing to do with the thoughts that I already believe. And I want to know what I'm thinking right now. And I want to create sentences closer to what I believe and repeating those. I don't want to practice sentences I don't believe. Let's look at thoughts that I have been practicing. And you've probably heard quite a few of these. The one I say the most, every day I'm not pregnant is a day I get to prepare my mind and body for pregnancy. Yes, this helps me have motivation to exercise, to do the work, to eat well. And I really believe this one. Number 2, I am enough no matter what happens. And I look at how I felt at the beginning that life was going to be perfect when I became pregnant and a mother. That's just a sentence in my head because I am enough no matter what happens. Ugh. Life is 50-50. The goal is not to be happy all the time. It's 50% positive and 50% negative. Yes, life is 50% positive and 50% negative. And I believe life is not going to be sunshine and roses once I have a baby. It's going to be a new positive and new negative. There's going to be new challenges. So yes, I want to embrace the negative times and celebrate the positive ones. And number 4, I'm going to be a mother or have a child, no matter what it takes. I like this one because maybe later we might have to go to embryo adoption or child adoption. And the more stories I hear, the more creative ideas I get. Like Rebecca used the menstrual cup to help get her pregnant. I think that really helped me get pregnant. And I want my brain to be working on ideas, trying to work on new things. But I want to make sure that it's coming from calm and enjoyment. Is enjoyment even a word? I don't know. But I want my brain to be working on these ideas without the stress and the tension. The next one I love to think. This is number 5. I'm only 42. I have time. That's right. Hearing all of these stories has really given me time. And I feel really calm when I think this thought. Jake was 51. Sharon was 50. Bianca was 48. 42, I have time. And that makes me feel so calm, which is exactly what I want my experience to be. The next one, it could work this time. That's true. A lot of the time, my brain likes to believe it's not going to work. Our brain wants to protect us from danger, and that's why we get a lot of negative thoughts. So I really have to work on managing my mind. And it could work. It could work this time. Definitely. Oh my gosh, what if it works? I got a lot of bathrooms I need to do construction on. Okay, I digress. Number 7, my trying to conceive journey is longer than I expected. And that's okay. I like putting that's okay on a lot of my thoughts. This didn't work out. That's okay. I am upset. That's okay. I'm having negative thoughts. That's okay. Because it is. And the next one is my trying to conceive experience is happening for me, not to me. I don't want to be a victim in my life, in this journey. And we may not have control of being able to get pregnant, but managing my emotions has made my experience night and day to what it used to be. And the last one, hey, we only have 9. What can you do? This is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. I kind of hated this one at first because having a miscarriage is not the way it's supposed to happen. But how do we know it's supposed to happen? Because it did. And arguing with the past, that's a losing battle. This really helps me feel calm, and I kind of look at my future. Let's go. The process I use to believe is 1, I write down my goal in my words. 2, I figure out what I'm thinking, what I'm currently thinking, and I write it all down. 3, I figure out the thoughts I want to think. And 4, I practice them over and over again. And this is the work that has changed my life, not just in believing. I hope this has helped you in some way. I could make so many more podcasts about this, so please let me know if this helped you. I could talk about this forever. So ladies, I believe you can have a baby over 40. We will be back next week with another amazing pregnancy story. I believe this is perfect timing. My tentative transfer date for frozen embryo number 2 is October 25th. And I believe this is the one. I'm so excited for the wild ride of pregnancy and motherhood. Happy 1-year anniversary Over 40 Fabulous and Pregnant podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Monday. I hope it was long enough. Recording ended.